Hi, everybody, and thanks for watching. Just wanted to make a quick overview of the class for some people who couldn't make the open house last week. So, my name is Mike Van Antwerp, teaching physics for your sons and daughters this year, and a little bit about myself. So, this is year 18 at Hull High School for me. Um, Love teaching physics. I typically teach biology and physics, and this year it's all physics, which worked out great for me doing distance learning because I'm just prepping for one class, so I can give that my attention. Um, it's really an enjoyable class for me. There's a lot of things, especially at the beginning of the year, where kids come in with some ideas that they get to really change, and that makes it hard for some of them. But it's exciting to actually see them learn some things, and it just takes a little bit of work as they keep going through stuff and keep trying to figure it out. Um, a little bit more about me. I used to coach lacrosse in Holt for 10 years. Currently coach over at Okemos High School. I've got three kids pictured here. My oldest is a sophomore in high school, my daughter's in 8th grade, and my youngest is in 4th grade. So they're all taking part in distance learning too. And so we've got my wife and I working at home, the three of them doing school. So it's definitely a lot of commotion going on. And we picked last week to get some wood floors redone. So that's been even more stuff going on. Um, in terms of the class, so, everything is on Google Classroom, which I think most people are familiar with now. Um, we do our Google Meets, our live sessions through that. And I just want to put a plug in here for kids having their videos on if possible. I realize that sometimes the Wi-Fi doesn't work or something in order to support that, but it's huge for me to be able to see the kids when I'm teaching, and just to see their faces lets me know, are they paying attention? Are they understanding? Just what are they doing? And it also helps me develop a relationship with them when I can see their face. And so if it's possible for your kids to turn their video on, I sure appreciate it. In terms of that Google Classroom, I'm going to switch out of this real quick and give you a look at what that looks like. So for the afternoon classes, so what kids can do is usually each day I'll post what we're doing so that they're reminded of the schedule. But they also get, same thing I email to you, they get a weekly work plan for what we're doing each week. And I really want to encourage them to look at that on Sunday or Monday and kind of plan out the week. We usually go through that in class on Mondays. So that's available to them. Under this classwork tab, you can see all their assignments per week, and I put up notes for each day. I also put up keys for each of the assignments, and most of the time, like I'll make a video going through it. So they'll have those 4 assignments. And that kind of brings us to my late work policy, which I think is a little more strict than other teachers. And after, I think it was the 3rd week of school, is where I started taking off points for late assignments, depending on how late they come in. But for me, really the goal is for the kids to try to answer the questions. They do the labs, they try to make sense of it, and we talk about it in class. They do the worksheets, they try to figure it out, we go over stuff. But what's important is for them to attempt it so they can see what mistakes they're making. And the feedback I give them is I just cross out their wrong answers, and then I put up the key for them. So once a kid goes to do this after 48 hours or something, they've already got access to the key that they can just copy, and we've already talked about it in class. So in order for them to kind of stay current, I really need them to just do the work when assigned and turn it in. Now that's easier said than done, for sure, but it kind of helps you understand why it's important for me to get it in on time. And I grade it on completeness. So I look at, are you trying all this? And I've only had, I think, 1 or 2 kids who've just given me kind of nonsense answers. So usually seniors in high school are pretty solid with attempting the work, and then we figure it out from there. Then let's see if I go back to this. In terms of assessments, like we just had our first assessment last week, so some of them, they should all have their grades in from those, unless they missed it. And then communication here. Sorry, let me see if I can move that up a little bit. I can. It says at the bottom, I have a remind set up for the kids, which is pretty instant communication with me. And then they can always send me a message on the Google Classroom or through email. If it's a quick message, I think remind is the best. It just goes right like a text message immediately to me, versus sometimes with email, it takes a while to refresh on my phone and I don't get a notification right away. But all those are good methods of communication from the kids. And I really hope it's them who's communicating, as seniors with any issues or missing class and stuff like that. It's great when I can hear from them as they're becoming young adults. And then the last thing I want to talk about was what should your kid be doing if they need some help? And we've got some kids doing this already, and I love it. I mean, I've loved the one-on-one time that I've been able to spend with kids, and I think to me the one benefit of being online is that easy access. And I've had some great conversations with kids about the work one-on-one that I don't know that I would have had the time to do that in the classroom. So that's been really helpful to me. But if your kid is struggling or getting behind or feeling frustrated, that is an ideal thing to do, is to just figure out some one-on-one time. And great times for me are 8 to 9 a.m. before class starts in the morning, or at 2:30 at the end of the day. That's a pretty easy time. I'm always working at those times, and so I can get on and give them some help. Some kids will use Remind to just send me a quick message, and if they need, it's just a real quick answer they need. Some kids will just send me a remind that says, hey, can you get on Google Meet at these times, and we figure it out that way. And then another option is just using the class time. And I know some kids are struggling with this because if we only meet for, let's say, 30 minutes, then they're thinking that class is done, even though we talk about that it isn't. But it's hard for them, I think, for some of them to stay organized. So one thing some kids are doing is they just stay on Google Meet, and they're working on an assignment or something, and they'll mute their microphone and turn their camera off, and then when they have questions, they'll pop in and out. And that's fine with me. Then I just stay on there, and I'm glad to help them while I'm grading other work or planning other things. And then I can make breakout rooms if they have friends in the class and they want to just make a little group and work in class that way. That works well too. I haven't had any kids do that, but because I think they can probably do that on their phones anyways, but glad to set that up if possible. So anyways, that's kind of the rundown. Really enjoying teaching, doing the best we can, and I appreciate people who are helping out with labs and different things for the kids, because I know it's definitely a challenge to be doing this at home. But that's it for me. Sorry to miss you last week, but hopefully this was helpful. Give you a little rundown of what we're doing in class. Have a great day.